the next kind of thing I want to bring up was probably something that's is already brought up a lot or often is kind of the through point question that I've seen in a lot of these podcasts and webinars are kind of what the global pandemic and its effect in real estate. And I know that's kind of an ongoing issue where every week it seems like it might go this direction or that, or it gets better and worse. But so my question specifically for you would be, I guess, given your expertise here in LA, is now let's push this out even further. Let's say it goes out to 18 months, hopefully post a vaccine. Mm-hmm. So do you see any lasting effects, or will it completely go back to where it was beforehand? What are your thoughts on that?
Well, I think it's really hard to know, but I think there may be some lasting effects in terms of the way for hard assets like real estate. Mm-hmm. I think we might see a difference with retail, for instance, because I think some of these tenants maybe will not open up for business again.
Right.
And that's going to put some pressure on shopping centers in terms of, are they able to find other tenants to fill those spots? What will the rents be? Will the rents go down because there's less demand?
Right.
So there's those types of questions. But interestingly enough, we may see some assets like some, say, shopping centers that may have a better, higher use as a multifamily development.
Right.
So there may have been some owners that had potentially long-term leases with tenants that sort of handcuffed the property, and it couldn't be developed because it had these long-term leases.
Yeah.
But the pandemic actually may have expedited that. Maybe the tenants are more willing now to give up their business or to accept a buyout, leave the property so that it can be scraped and redeveloped for something that we really need in the community, maybe more housing. So there could be a win-win, I guess maybe some silver lining in certain instances. And, I think it's devastating to think of all the retailers that will not be able to open back up again, and a lot of people who have lost jobs permanently. So I think it will take us time to figure out how we get those people back into the workforce. But there are other ways that we have found to do business, like these Zoom calls. And, so I think it will change a little bit of real estate in terms of maybe it won't be as important to be in meetings as present in person as often as we were doing before. So I think it'll just change our habits a bit, and that will affect real estate. Some of the developers are talking about making sure that people have home offices in apartments, so that if they do need to work remotely or choose to do so for a portion of the week, that they have a comfortable spot where they can actually conduct business in Zoom meetings instead of, just in their bedroom with the bed in the background. So I think we'll become more efficient in the way we work going forward.
That's great. And, we were actually both on a panel kind of discussing some of this at the CCIM webinar. And, one of the things I kind of wanted to touch upon was the subject of affordable housing, and kind of, look, there's probably no one solution, right? Silver bullet to that problem. It's going to have to be, tackled on multiple fronts. But I kind of wanted to get your thoughts on that, maybe a potential solution or some insight you could bring to that issue and problem.
Sure. Well, I think one thing that seems to be working well is they've increased the zoning opportunities for developers with what they call transit-oriented communities, which gives a piece of land that the ability to have higher density on it if it's located somewhat near mass transit. And so if it is located near mass transit, the city is saying, we will allow you to build more units than what you normally could build as long as you put affordable units on the project as well. And it seems, when I'm running my numbers to see whether this is accretive to value or not, in most cases it is coming out where it is definitely accretive in value for the landowner as well as for the developer to build these projects that now have affordable housing, but the developer gets to build more market rate units. So there's a give and take. And the trade-off seems to work well for both increasing affordable housing as well as the developer actually having a project that's more financially feasible. So I would encourage the city to come up with other ways to develop affordable housing by giving incentives to developers. And maybe we should look beyond just properties that are located near mass transportation. Maybe there are other areas where we could make investments into communities that could use affordable housing if there's some benefits to the developers that are above what we have today.
Absolutely. And touching on that too, I absolutely agree. I think, again, there's no one solution, but that definitely has been a cumbersome process for developers in finding these kind of like overlays and restrictions and queue conditions that cause them not to get more development out there, more product out there. And I definitely feel that one of the solutions might be just giving the opportunity for different developers to come in and build where the costs aren't so prohibitive, they could get creative, more inventory could bring down kind of the rents in the area. So, it's definitely one solution. There's probably multiple others that also need to be addressed at the same time, but absolutely agree. I think that's super vital to this.